What's up, guys? Before we get into today's podcast, I just wanted to get on here and address a few things. First off, this is the second part of my second podcast, so it's being uploaded as the third podcast, really, but it's a two-part series. The first one was posted about 2 weeks ago, so if you haven't seen that, you might want to go watch that before you watch this one. That way you kind of understand where we're at and where we're picking up on. It is the entire story of my dad and how he started the companies from the very beginning to where we are today. Moving on, there were a few issues that we ran into while recording, obviously. I'm new to all of this, and we will iron out all of these issues moving forward. One of them being the audio. My dad was a little too far away from the mic, and the audio levels are kind of like up and down, so just bear with it during the video. I made it as good as I possibly could. The other issue was memory cards in the cameras. So some of the clips will look like they were recorded on different cameras. I did have 3 cameras going. One of the memory cards filled up. I ended up having to move cameras around during the podcast. So it's not perfect, but it ended up working out. I don't want to record the podcast again. It was a very good episode, in my opinion. So we're just kind of running with it and dealing with things. So if it's not perfect, that's exactly why. There were a few minor issues, but we're just dealing with it as we go. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into today's podcast.
At one point, you had the Nanuet Mall, the Palisades Mall, and Pfizer.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
We're busy.
Yeah. You had a lot of guys working for you.
Oh my God. 75 guys.
Would you say that that was bigger than what we're doing now?
It was more. There's been bigger things than that, Brendan. There's been. That was, right, in the snow removal world, you can call it controlled chaos,
Yeah.
right? I had a operations manager and a site supervisor for Pfizer. Same thing for
Yeah,
Nanuet
each
Mall.
location had their
Same
own.
thing for Palisade Center. And then outside of that, we're doing condominium complexes.
Yep.
We're doing all this stuff, right?
Were you still doing driveways at this point?
No.
right?
I didn't do driveways after the second year.
Yeah.
I was done with driveways by 1986.
So that was quick.
Second year after buying them. And I'll tell you what happened. I went and picked up money from somebody from doing a driveway, and he said I didn't get close enough to the garage door, right? He had to come out and shovel it. I'm like, all right.
So you plowed the
I come
garage
up to
door
that
in
house.
next time.
I come up to that house, and I'm like, all right, bastard, I'll get close. I sweep up to get close to the garage door, and whack, I ripped the garage door jam off. I'm like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
That was half intentional.
Yeah. So, but fortunately, I'm doing construction.
Yeah, you can fix it yourself.
So, back then, this is 6:30 in the morning, right? They're all out of the house now in their pajamas because I just rattled the house, right? Man, the garage door jam is hanging out. No, all right. Give me a couple hours. As soon back then, I think it was General Lumber down there. As soon as General opens up, I'll go get a couple 2x10s and I'll fix it. And ran right back up there with my construction.
Yeah.
I fixed it. And I'm like, I got to get out of this. This is maddening.
done doing driveways.
This is $20. Right? This is for a $20 driveway. This is nuts. And then I got to chase this deadbeat for 4 days to get my $20.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. So that was the end of that. That was the job that said to me, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with residential, and I just didn't look back.
There's just too much nonsense that goes around.
Too much
with it.
nonsense.
Yeah.
And so now we're doing all of those. And we probably had 75 guys at the time, Bren,
Yeah.
between all the sites and everything. And we had gotten to the point to where Rockland County had gotten saturated with landscapers,
Right.
right?
And every landscaper is a
And
snowplow
every
guy.
landscaper can plow snow, but every landscaper, all they want to do is fill time, right? They're
Yeah.
just trying to get to the next grass cutting season.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm like, I've got to find a way to separate myself from the pack.
Yeah.
And so I had belonged to Snow and Ice Management Association when they were in their infancy. John Allen and all those guys, they had started that. And I think they were 2 years in and I was on board with those guys. Jesus. We got ISO certified. We're still ISO certified. We're one of 2 companies in New York that are ISO certified.
Who's the other company?
Nieve Landscaping up in Wappingers.
Oh, wow.
I believe. The last time I checked, we're the only 2
Oh,
in
interesting.
our area. right?
I've seen their trucks around.
Yeah. So we had done we were doing a lot in snow.
Yeah.
And so the Accredited Snow Contractors Association, Kevin Gilbright, still runs that, we were chummy. And he would ask me, he's like, hey, George, I'm coming over to Westchester. I'm doing a seminar. Can you stop and come in and guest speak for us? And I'm like, everything all right?
That memory card's full.
Already?
Apparently.
Oh, and this isn't recording either? Oh my god.
When did that stop?
I don't know. It's dead.
Your phone died.
This one's been recording though, so
Well, how long are we at?
we're gonna readjust, and the rest of this is gonna be filmed on one camera.
Dude, that's crazy. Your phone died?
Apparently. I don't know how much memory card is left on here, but we'll keep an eye on it.
That's crazy. That filled up that fast.
I might have my settings
Too high.
wrong or something. I'm not sure. So, anyway, keep going.
We're recording, right? We're not.
This is recording. As long as that red light is on, we're good. For context for you guys, I bought 2 new cameras, and I had my phone recording for the third angle, and this is the first episode using them, and one of them filled up the memory
So
card.
Brandon's
already, and my
basically telling you
phone-
he's figuring it out.
My phone apparently died recording the other one, so the rest of this is only going to be filmed on one angle. So.
Our father will attest. This is how we live our life. This is literally
Yeah,
the
we're just
realest,
figuring it out as we go.
the realest example of us.
So Kevin Gilbright is doing a seminar in Westchester. He asked me to come over and to basically explain and to the other guys how I am separating myself from the pack, right? So what ends up happening is that when you go there and you start talking and you want to be cordial to the guys in your industry and stuff like that, but the problem is you're letting your little secrets out of the bag.
Yeah.
And then what ended up happening was I'm finding guys that are bidding against me
That you taught.
that I'm sharing the secret sauce to.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas, any thoughts about in the long term becoming like a consultant for snow? Like when you step down, do you think because like you have a lot of knowledge and
Yeah.
No, we don't want them taking our business.
Yeah.
yeah, but at this point, it's you can Google it and you can pretty
Yeah.
much find
Yeah, I
out.
don't-
that.
Yeah, so go Google it then.
Yeah, but for him, when he retires and you take over the construction and the snow removal,
When he
company-
retires, he should retire, and that's it.
Yeah.
Go play pickleball.
Yeah. So I have thought about that, Chris.
Yeah.
I have thought about that.
You got
And
tons of knowledge.
I just don't know. I don't know. I love sharing it, but I don't know if I want to share it on a manufacturer end.
Yeah.
Maybe work for a manufacturer. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I end up doing that stuff with Kevin, and I end up becoming better friends with John Allen. So John was the very first beginner of snow management magazine. John was the very first one to have a national snow removal company. John did the Olympics, right? When unheard of, right?
So what year is this?
He's from Pennsylvania. This is the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, 1988 Winter Olympics.
So
I
that's
think.
the first time there's a
A
national
national company. He's in Pennsylvania and he's out. I believe it was Utah. Is where the Olympics
What,
were.
he's plowing the snow there?
He's plowing the snow there.
Their company.
They
Is
needed
that,
a company, and he's running Snow Management. Was the name of his company. So now John's like a frontier in this, a pioneer in national snow management. Right? We're one company, but we're going to be in 100 locations, and the math was that okay, if it's snowing in the Northeast, it's most likely not going to be snowing in the middle of the country or in the West, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll manage our money there and our exposure, and well, a couple years in, it snowed everywhere, and so.
So is it one crew that he would have, and they would travel, or was it
Multiple crews.
No. They would sub it out.
Okay, so
They would do in-house servicing on what you would consider high-profile customers, and then a lot of stuff like the Palisades Center, they subbed it to me. I had the Palisades Center, so I get halfway through the first year with them, and the payments stop. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Time to chase another one.
And so now I'm like, but fortunately, we had a lot of big work at that time. We had Pfizer, we had the other malls.
Yeah, there's other stuff that's paying you.
So we were just. I went into the management at the Palisades Center, sat down with him. I go, listen to me. I'm not getting paid. I'm not going to place a lien against your building. You're going to guarantee that I get paid. I said, and I will not skip a beat here. And I think it was Dave Mistretta. Dave said, George, thank you so much. We will, and you know.
Did they know at that point you weren't getting paid?
Yeah. So what they did was, So Dave gave me his word, and
how did they know that you weren't getting paid?
I verbally walked in and told them.
No, but before you told them, they didn't know.
No.
Because they don't have any.
They were classic slow payers themselves, Brent.
Yeah. But they didn't have any. They weren't part of the conversations between
me and John. No,
you and John. Yeah.
No, and so you can imagine. You know me well enough. I'm behind the scenes, hammering John.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. You got to get us money. So the season ends, and I want to say, across the whole snow management portfolio, we're the largest debtor. We're the third largest debtor. So it's a shitstorm for him. They end up selling the business to another company. We're on conference calls all the time. The top 10 of us, the top 10 debtors are on the call with John, and they work it out with this other company, and they're going to pay us basically 70 cents on the dollar for everything that's owed. We're like, okay, let's get it done. And they did it. It took a little bit of time, but they did it.
Thank God you had Billy LaFrancois teaching you to take the 70.
Yeah. Listen, that's an old Bill LaFrancois. And at this time, Bill's passed away, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just leaning on the knowledge that he passed along to me. And, I'll tell you what, there are certain days that I would go, what would Bill do here?
Yeah.
And, how would Bill want me to react here? And so I did that and put me in sort of a sour position with John Allen, right? Because I was hammering him. And I was vocal on those calls. I was bent. It was to the tune of $300,000. Right?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
A lot of money. And so we did all of that. We got through that. And now I'm doing them all by myself. Now I've got the contract.
So how did the contract with John ended with the mall?
Yeah.
And then because the mall already knew who you were, they went.
I was working there. Yeah.
Yeah, they just cut him out.
So I did the contract by myself.
Yeah.
Right, with the mall. Actually, let's back up a second. Nope, I didn't do the mall myself. I did the mall. I gave the heads up to the guys at Brickman and said, hey, they're looking to do a new contract here. Brickman got in there. Brickman got the contract.
At that point, the contract was full property maintenance, which is landscaping, snow,
everything,
and anything in between that.
Yep.
So they wanted one contract that covered everything for the property.
Yep. And so I did the Palisades Center. 2 years for snow management. 5 years for Brickman. Brickman, you had a contract. The contracts back in the day, guys, were all the snow gets removed off the parking lot basically through January 1. And if it snows prior to January 1, there's no snow in the parking lots. And it's all part of your anything after January 1 is part of an extra. Hauling, loading, right? So
November and December, even late October.
If it snows, they need those parking spots empty for shoppers.
For Christmas shopping.
Yeah. And it was busy, right? Yeah. And so
But you were putting the snow out in the commuter lot.
Out to the J lot.
Yeah,
out to the commuter lot. But so we work out with Brickman. Brickman wants a little bit of a cushion. And they're saying, hey, we need you to guarantee no snow in the parking lots until January 15th. We need a little bit of a cushion. All right, no problem. We'll give you a cushion. So we go out to the 15th, right, with them. We work out a little price structure for it. Well, the very first year, January 16th, my email goes off, and actually it was a fax, I think, came in with a map of the Palisade Center and of the whole parking lot, right? And everywhere it had like a circle. All this snow must be removed, blah, 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 and blah, 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 and put in a J lot.
Yeah, bill them. I'll do it, but
Well,
I'll do it, but you're getting billed.
It gets better. You're jumping ahead there a little bit. So, no problem. We'll have, six triaxles in tonight, 3 loaders.
Who's
right?
sending this fax? The Brickman or
Brickman sending
Okay.
it.
Oh, Brickman sent
Brickman
it.
Corporate.
Okay, so they're
Brickman
their main
corporate.
headquarters or whatever.
Yeah.
And they must know that your contract
Yeah.
ended
Well,
on
I
the
think-
15th of that.
Now, their contract ended January 30th for snow to be removed. They had a 15-day gap.
So the
They
cushion,
didn't realize it.
So they gave him to the 15th, but they
yeah, but the
signed
cushion,
to the 30th.
the cushion that they wanted
They
really
thought-
should have been February
they
15th.
They thought.
They were December
They
31st.
thought. No, January 1st, right, was the typical.
They just
Snowman
weren't
for
paying
group, right?
attention.
They didn't think
John
it was
kept
gonna
it
snow.
tighter.
Yeah.
And then Brickman's like, all right, we need you to get to the 15th, but nobody was reading the source in their contract that theirs was they had
So they're
corporate had
liable
it
until
guaranteed
Brick-
them
the
until the
30th, but
30th.
you're only on to the 15th.
Brickman dropped the ball when they
Oh my God.
got you to the 15th.
So here's the disconnect with Brickman, right? You got your lower level, your middle level, and then you got corporate. And nobody knows what's going on.
And it's not snowing typically back then after January 15th. Like, it's not typical that it would snow that much.
no,
No, it
so
would.
all the
It would
time.
snow.
All
So
the time.
yeah.
More snow.
Why would they do January 1st?
because
Because now the
shopping.
shopping season's over.
Christmas
so
shopping.
they only care
They wanted every parking spot clear
so they can make their money.
through Christmas.
And then
Through
the mall
Christmas
slows down.
and returns, Chris.
Yeah.
So the mall slows down around the 15th, so they don't care.
So the mall's contract with Brickman was through the 30th.
Yeah.
Really, their cushion should have been February 15th. They just
No.
assumed.
They should have brought their language up to the 15th of January
Yeah.
to match
Yeah.
mine.
Well,
or
you're
pulled you
the-
forward. Or
So
pulled-
we're all on the
they
same,
should have
yeah.
pulled. You both
So
should
we're all
have
on
pulled
the
it
same
to
page.
the 30th. Yeah.
Either
So
way,
they
should
sent
have
it over like the next day. And I'm like, yep, no problem. Send it over. Yeah, we'll have
And if that's coming from Brickman directly,
Brickman Corporate.
You're being
Yeah.
told to do it by your boss,
Sure.
basically. Yeah.
sure, I'll go do it, and
Yeah,
then
it's-
be ready for this bill. It's coming.
Yeah.
They don't even know this, Brent.
Yeah.
They don't know this yet.
They're disconnected.
They don't know. They just need the work done.
Yeah.
Because for those
They're
guys,
not even thinking about a bill.
I don't think Brickman. Back then, they were a couple $100 million company.
Yeah.
They're making money all over the place,
Yeah.
right? So their job is to keep their customers happy. So they send it to me. I send it out at that time.
Well, the mall must have reached out to them saying, "Why is the snow not moved?"
No. The mall doesn't even reach out to you. The mall just sends you a fax or an email. Have this snow removed.
Yeah.
There's no communication. And
Yeah, but up until the 15th, you were just doing it.
Yeah.
Nobody was telling you to do it. You already
We don't
knew.
have to because we knew it was part of our contract.
Right. So the 16th rolled around,
You're
and
done.
the snow wasn't
The
cleared.
16th rolls around.
Yeah,
and
but the snow wasn't cleared. The mall must have been like, "Hey, Brickman, what are you doing? Move the snow." And then Brickman's
could've.
like, "Shit, send this to George."
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah.
For me, I just knew it didn't get moved, right?
Yeah, you knew that your contract for moving snow was over.
So, and listen, it could have been a couple days past that, right?
Yeah.
The fax comes across. We moved the snow. If my memory's not bad, it's I'm almost to the penny. $138,000 hauling and moving.
For one day. Or a couple days.
It took us 2 nights.
Yeah.
$138,000. We bill them for it, right? And after the first couple hours, we just saw that we just were not going to do. So all of a sudden, I reached out to a bunch of buddies with triaxles, and then I already had the loaders. I had 8 loaders there. So our rule of thumb was 3 loaders. 1 loader gets 2 trucks. One's dumping, one's loading.
And it was just too much snow.
So it wasn't
a lot of
it
snow.
wasn't a dusting. It was an actual like
we
snow
weren't
event.
we weren't being productive, so we put on more trucks, and of course that and more loaders.
Yeah.
So we did it all, sent the bill in. They go back and they say, "Hey, no, that's in your contract." I send them a copy of the contract, and they go, "Whoops,
That's a
Oops.
big whoops.
mistake." But guys, 1 week later, that $138,000 check was in our mailbox.
Yeah.
Brickman didn't play games.
Yeah.
Well, they're
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah,
they're nationwide. They
after
made the
that-
mistake and they owned up to it.
Yeah.
After that, the language got cleaned up.
Yeah.
And it was done.
Reasonable.
Yeah, it's
Right.
Cost them 138 grand to figure out they messed
well,
up.
How long would it have, if you didn't bring in the other people? How long do you think that would have taken you? Like if you had to do it with just the guys you had, like 4 days, 5 days?
So I had at that stage, I only had 2 triaxles on my own.
But are you only doing it overnight while the mall's
Yeah,
closed?
yeah. When the mall's closed, you
Right.
can't. Brand, there's too much danger during the day.
Yeah.
Too many cars.
You would have
too
to
many
close
people,
off the parking lot you're working in.
pedestrians. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what we try to do is we try to put 2 guys there in a pickup truck, just for eyes.
Just
Because
supervising
that mall had restaurants, bars,
always
shit going on.
something.
But
There's always something.
even overnight, there's nothing stopping someone from driving through.
No.
No, not at all. So we would try to cone it off, caution tape it off,
Yeah.
right? And you got to remember, now you're in a winter environment, right? Sometimes at night, the wind is howling. I mean, you're out there and it's crazy condition.
Yeah.
So not only are you moving the snow, but now you've got to put on a salt truck. Because everything that you just moved,
Yeah, it's all.
now it's got a layer
yeah.
of ice or slush.
And
And now
it's
you got to
windy,
put a
it's
salt
freezing.
truck on,
Yeah.
So it all adds up at the
You
end.
got to speak of liability. Brandon just
Yeah.
fell in the video in the background.
Did I?
Yeah,
Oh,
there you
yeah.
go. There you go.
What a great part.
So that's the Palisade Center at that point. But then I do it a couple years by myself, 3 years by myself, and then they want to do snow and landscape again.
So
I get a
let's pause on the snow for a second. So at this point, George Stoll Construction is a full-blown construction company.
oh, it's rocking right along.
Full-blown. We got 6, 7 employees, maybe more. Multiple vehicles on the road every day.
Oh yeah.
Like, we kind of skipped over the growth of this. It's hard to touch on both things simultaneously as they grow, because they started as one really, but then they split into 2 independent companies. But like George Stoll Construction on its own is very, I want to say very big. We're not nationwide or anything like that, but locally
We're not big. We're for a local home improvement renovation contractor. We do our fair share of work.
yeah.
Right.
But
Those guys that are bigger
in Rockland County, though, in the area that we're in,
the area. And listen, a long time ago, one thing that Bill told me: don't pay attention to your competition.
Yeah.
do
They
your
don't
thing.
mean nothing to what you're doing every day. And I don't pay attention to nobody. I
yeah.
don't care what anybody else is doing in Rockland County. All I care about is what we're doing.
yeah,
That's it. Done.
yeah, it doesn't matter. There's
Doesn't
enough.
matter.
There's enough for everyone.
Yeah. And listen, we may not be your contractor.
Yeah,
It took me a long time to realize that I used to think working in the field and framing that house and getting that big structure up in the air was, woohoo, that's not where you make your money. When you get into the office environment and you start billing people properly and you start managing your business, that's where you make money. Not out in the field. Out in the field, I'm working. A customer asks me for an extra Anderson window. I make sure it happens. I get on the phone. I order it. I get it framed. I get the header in. I get the window ordered. Throw the window in. But what did I forget? I forget to back to the office to bill that window. So we were leaving money on the table left and right because we weren't monitoring.
you were
that.
too busy just getting it done.
I'm hands on.
Yeah,
And you're young. You're not paying attention to everything.
All
at
the little
time.
details.
Yeah.
And when you get out of the office or out of the field and into the office, that's where you start making money.
So from really like that point on, once George Stoll Construction was,
So George Stoll Construction is 12 months a year.
yeah, but from that
Everybody-
point on, up until now, not much has changed except where our office is, and like we've done bigger projects and stuff. And
Well, so as I got older, I started to talk, and I a lot of times I talk with Jeff Mancuso, right? Because Jeff's been a phenomenal businessman, right?
yeah,
And so I look up to him for all of that stuff, and then he's telling me you got to have bricks and mortar. If you want to sell this business, yeah, your guys and the volume of work you do is awesome. Your phone number is awesome, but you got to have bricks and mortar. So I'm doing things simultaneously, right? Running a construction business out of Tompkins Avenue, out of the house that I'm renting out, and I've got an office in the back. I've got 3 rental yards at the time. One with overseas containers in it for material, tools, and this, and a couple trucks there. Then another one with snow equipment, and then another one with construction, and
just throwing money.
And I'm spinning my wheels. I'm all over the place, right? As far as the snow end of it, I'm trying to get away from the pack. How do I separate myself?
Yeah.
How do I get away from doing a little strip center? How do I get away from the landscapers and, the guys that just want to do it part-time? So I start plowing snow for the state of New York. My first one started up at Letchworth Village. They had gotten a big snowstorm and they needed roads cleared, so I did that contract for them. I cleared all the roads for them. And then I am Nanuet Mall, Pfizer, Palisades Center, all of them under a plate. I get a phone call from the mayor of Fairmont, from Dennis Kay, and says, hey, I'd like to meet with you. We got a little bit of problem with our municipal snow program, blah, 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 blah.
So how did he find out about you?
He had seen us when he drove through the back of the the Nanuet Mall. He saw the name on.
Yeah, and he goes, these guys are doing big snow removal work.
I used to have, and I had big trucks in there.
Yeah.
I used to have a gigantic sign on above the overseas container.
We used to have to stop in there to see your trucks all the time.
Yeah, all the time, just to check and make sure nobody busted out the windows or anything like that, right? Yeah, nothing like to show up when you're getting ready to plow snow and have a window missing, right? Your mother couldn't figure that out. Why every time she thinks I just like to go look at the equipment.
As a kid, it was funny because
there's multiple instances where things happen to your equipment.
Oh my God, nothing worse than showing up the night to do work and somebody slit your tires. Competition will do that to you.
What about like homeless people sleeping in equipment and stuff?
Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah,
that's happened. So I meet with Dennis. I put together. I tell him, listen, I can do it. There's no problem with it. They've got 72 miles of road to do, and it was a pretty daunting process, right? Because now we're taking work from the town of Ramapo Highway Department.
But they were underperforming.
Oh, majorly.
So there's a reason that they reached out to you.
They raised their price 75% in 3 years. That was the kicker.
Yeah.
Dennis is like, this can't keep on happening. And so then once the process starts and you start digging in.
But they raised their price, and they also were not sending the amount of trucks.
So I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
I'm going to get to that. So the funny thing is, over in that area, all of the villages, none of them have a highway department. The town of Ramapo provides them with an intermunicipal agreement where you don't have to go out to bid, but another municipality can provide you with the service that you need. So all of these villages are at the mercy of the town of Ramapo.
How did that originally become a thing, this intermunicipal agreement thing?
It's always been part of the state contract law.
Just forever.
So forever. And
it kind of seems like, it
actually works good for them if everybody's on the up and up.
Yeah. But it seems kind of unfair for
the villages.
Well, for the villages and also for us.
What do you mean for us? What do you mean?
Like how it's difficult for us to get into these villages when they have this agreement with.
Well, it's sort of a control factor. Yeah, you're right.
But
there's a way to pierce.
But if Ramapo was doing everything the way they're supposed to and was treating everyone fairly, we never would have gotten into.
Wouldn't have happened.
It would not have happened.
There wouldn't have been a reason to make that phone call.
Yeah,
right.
And that's what triggered the big change of how our snow removal end of things is working these days.
So that was part of my getting away from the pack.
Yeah.
Right. And during the process, the town of Ramapo Highway Department and the CSEA, the Civil Service Employee Association, they didn't go quietly.
Yeah.
They made a major stink. But every time we called them out on the carpet, didn't have an answer. The night that the village of Airmont was going to award the contract to us, they all show up in their nice big white shirts with the CSCA logos on them and everything. And they sit down in front of the board and they get up and they say, yo, the village of Airmont shouldn't. And Dennis Kay handled it like a champ. He goes, hey, you're at the wrong town board meeting. We don't have a highway department.
Is this the same day you parked all of your plow trucks in the parking lot?
Yep. So exactly. So they said that they said Town of Ramapo is telling everybody, Tony Sharon, who I've become really good friends with, that you can't do, no local contractor can do what we can do and blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah,
But
watch this.
So the night of the town board meeting that they're going to vote, I call everybody. I call TJ Farkas. I get a hold of Steve. I get a hold of Vinny. I get a hold of everybody. Right back then, Dennis Burns and all them, right? And I go, guys, I want 3 loaders and 4 trucks in fully geared up, wing plows, front plows, everything, sitting in the village of Airmont with your lights on, with all your.
This is at Village Hall.
And what month is it? What month is this? So it's not winter. The trucks are not ready.
No. This is like
you're showing that you can get it ready.
This is like September.
Yeah. So your trucks are just sitting.
No, they're
there.
just sitting.
I bring everybody in.
Yeah. I bring everybody in the day before, and I go, listen, we want wing plows on everything. Blah 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 blah.
Get it done. We're putting it in the parking lot.
And we clogged up their parking lot. Strobe lights are on. The trucks are all out there. They're having a board meeting.
Yeah. You think we can't do this?
The walks in there, and they're saying you can't do it. We're like, well.
In a day, we just got these.
We got
out
stuff
there.
right on the parking lot. You want to go take a tour of it?
Go look outside.
What do you mean we can't do it? We got it sitting in the parking lot. You can go touch it.
Where'd you park?
And so Dennis Kay told them, go, listen, guys, you're at the wrong board meeting. We don't have a highway department yet. You might want to get down to the Town of Ramapo board meeting and ask them why they raised our prices up 75% in 3 years. And then you can figure out why you're losing your job.
Yeah.
And so he sent them on down the road packing. Gave us a 3-year deal, and they were nervous. It's a new thing. And so, and here's what happens when you start to do things like this. So all of a sudden, you start to uncover all the shit that the town of Ramapo wasn't doing.
Yeah.
Right? They tell them that they're giving them 3.5 trucks. So I'm sitting in a meeting, I go, Tony, 3.5 trucks. What, do we get the passenger side of the truck and Montebello gets the driver's side of the truck? We get half of the plow, they get the sander? What? Explain it. Oh, well, and what they were doing is they were ghost trucking all the villages. They're telling all the villages that they're getting a certain amount of equipment.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the night, nobody knows. They're shuffling it from one. They don't have enough guys. The guys are calling in sick. They got worker comp issues. Trucks are broke down. And but that's snow, right? Yeah. That's snow.
Yeah, but it's easy to do that when you're coming out of one garage and you're going to 5, 6 different villages.
They have no idea where they're going.
It's easy to do that.
There have been so many nights. Now, we've been in Airmont now 15 years.
Yeah.
Right?
And all of our trucks come out of our shop and they go straight into the village.
We'll all get called in by the PD for a snowstorm. We'll go by the Town of Ramapo garage. They don't come in.
There's been storms. There's been storms where we went in to plow Airmont. Storms where you don't know what's going to happen. It could be nothing. Could be a salting event. Could be a light scrape. We go in. We're driving by. 6 a.m. We're going home. Ramapo's just showing up to go out.
We've been in all night.
Yeah, and our roads are cleared and we're going home.
That's nonsense. And so it was ghost trucks. And then so Dennis and then they had the same problem with the Ramapo PD because Ramapo PD provides police coverage to the village. And then they started to, all right, how many cars are in our village? 2 of them or 3 of them? We want to log on that car every single day. What did it do? Where was it in the village?
You got to follow. You got to make sure your money's going to where it's going.
So then what they did is they went to the town that they approached the Village of Suffering for Village of Suffering to provide police service. And so now Ramapo PD is like, whoa, that was a couple $1 million loss. It would be. So they straightened it all out. So that separated us, right? So we negotiate that in 2009. We get the contract. The handover is December 31st, January 1 at midnight. You could have had a betting line in Vegas. What are the chances of it snowing at the minute that you're given the football? Well, dude, it was a 6-inch snowstorm.
So
Ramapo never came in, Brand. Never plowed the road.
So
Never nothing.
Up until midnight, it's snowing.
No, none of Airmont's roads are touched.
Because they know that you guys
None.
are starting
And
at,
up
at
to that,
12:01.
So now you got, in our area, you got November, December coverage. 2 trucks, 1 truck. Now, because they know they're not doing the work, so now they're really just screwing over Airmont. Right?
Yeah.
And the village took notice of it.
That sounds like a lawsuit.
No, but
So what was that like for you guys when you guys have now the next day comes your contract's active?
oh, so midnight we're plowing snow.
You
Chris.
just go out there and crush it.
We get
Well, it sucks because now you're clearing 6 inches at once.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what
let me tell you something. We tore an ass right into it.
What year was that? Because that was
2010. That was January 1 of 2010.
so I started 2012.
Yep.
So you had 2 years in Airmont before I started.
Yeah. So all of a sudden we get the contract in September, right, at that board meeting. Now we need a yard. Now we need a salt bin. We need this. So I go over to the Cheeseman brothers, Eddie and his brother. They're right in Airmont, right at the end of Brookside. You know
That's where you had the green fence around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
so
know.
I build that. I rent that yard from them. I build this big gigantic salt bin. The village comes over. We're in the village newspaper. We're in all this stuff. And the next it snows. The average snowfall for that village is 37 to 40 inches of snowstorm. 30-year history, right? 88 inches of snow first year. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, what did you get
Like,
yourself
oh
into?
my God, what did we get ourselves into here, right? So we're just banging it out, doing our thing. But we come back in one night. It's snowing pretty heavy, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. We're like, all right, guys, let's park here in the yard and get a couple hours, 2-3 hours shut eye real quickly. Just got a couple hours sleep in your truck. Whoever gets up 3:30, quarter, whoever, somebody set your alarm, hit the air horn and we'll all get at it. Well, we wake up and there's a good 12, 16 inches of snow.
Jeez.
In our parking lot.
Yeah. And you're on a gravel yard.
We're on a gravel lot. We're now in there. Well, the all-wheel drivers were right out.
Yeah.
Right? They're no problem. But us, my truck was a tandem, so I locked in. I got out. But the guys with the single axles, we had to get the loader.
Yeah,
put
clearing
a
them.
chain on them, drag them out, get them out. And I'm like, I gotta have a building.
Yeah.
I gotta have a building. Yeah. Right? So we're getting through that, and then all of a sudden,
Did you have a salt bin there, or was the salt piled in?
Gigantic salt bin.
I thought I remember the salt just being a pile tarped at one point.
Width, it was nice. It was a real nice.
Did you have salt that was just tarped at one point?
No.
Behind our house.
And behind the house,
maybe
I
the
did.
one time.
Where you got stung by the bees. Yeah.
The Jersey barrier. No,
in the
you
very
got stung
beginning,
by the
Brandon.
bees.
I was playing on the plows. I got stung by the bees.
Brandon,
yeah.
that's back in the early.
That was
90s.
when you were like first into snow.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I
I
did
remember
everything.
that.
I was hanging out there with Ivan and Ephraim and Alyssa.
Yeah.
And
all the
Siobhan.
neighborhood kids.
Yeah, we were hanging out on top of the snow
and
pile,
all
the
around
salt
the
piles.
equipment. And back then I had. I mean, I was out there. Your mother would come out at 10 o'clock at night. Are you coming in to go to bed? I'd be out there changing a starter, middle of the night, changing the oil. I did everything myself.
Yeah.
And if I couldn't do it, I ran it up the top of the hill, the Stony Point Truck Service to Don Mankiewicz. And I didn't have big money.
Yeah.
So I would just pick and choose what I could give to Don, and everything else I was doing myself. And it was to the point to where you would drop, let's say I'm putting the positive and negative terminals and shit on the starter. You drop the nut in a gravel.
Yeah, good
I
luck
spent
finding
20
it.
minute trying to find a nut.
So
I'm
anyway,
like, oh.
so you're at the point where you need a garage. I need a shop.
need a building.
Yeah.
So I go on, and I want to be an airman. So I go on.
Well, you have to be.
Well, now you do. Back then they wanted you. It was their language was you had to be remotely close or whatever.
Yeah,
it
was
right?
less strict.
And so I start looking at the zoning laws in Airmont, and I see that Spook Rock Industrial Park is the only piece of industrial property that allows for contractors' activities. So I
In the whole village.
the whole village.
So you had no other options, really?
No,
besides
that's it.
buying
That's
a
the only piece of property in the village that's
Well,
industrial.
no.
So you can't even buy it. There's no like land. You can't.
None.
That's
and it's a
crazy.
zone that they don't want to give you.
Yeah, because
You don't go to the zoning board and try to get it rezoned because it ain't happening. Right? So I figure it out, Brent. I go over there and I start looking and I see the building, the building we're in is completely empty. So I dig down the owners, and it ended up being Arthur Fine. Now, if you come over by Panera, and you go over to the thruway, and you make the left by the Holidome Hotel there and all that, out in the back, Arthur owns a big professional building. Him and his daughter and his son-in-law and stuff. So I meet him over there, and at this point, he's like an 80-year-old gentleman. So
he was making cabinets, right?
No, that was American Cabinets. Prior to that, they closed up and moved out in the middle of the night. He was a financial, and the financial end of it was he owned the building.
Okay, so they were leasing it from him.
He was getting a piece of the pie because he owned the building.
Okay.
In the middle of the night, they closed up and left. And he didn't know nothing about it. He shows up, the building's empty, but they left all of the cabinet making, all the CNC machines, everything was inside. So he was smart. He changed all the locks, had an auction. And by that time I got there was just sporadic stuff left.
Yeah.
But that building was wide open, all 5 units.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
So that whole big run, not
my
everything.
God, Chris, no demising wall.
On-time supply, all the way to our salt bin.
Wide open.
Wide open.
Oh, so you're just seeing your dreams.
Oh, I'm like, I can do a lot with this.
You're
I can do a
drooling.
lot with this, right? So, and in my section,
It's so packed, we can't do much at all right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's happened. So you think you have enough, but you never have enough. So there's a mezzanine office down in 3/4 of the way down the building in our section now that we own. And it had glass windows all the way around so they could see the whole shop floor, right? And they could see everybody making everything. And so I told Arthur, okay, I'm going to take these. I want to take these last two units. What are you going to get? When he's like, $350. I go, nah, I can't do that, Arthur. I said, how about $335 a unit? And all right, I can do that, right? And I knew I wanted the end unit brand for the salt bin.
Yeah, keep it
I
down.
knew that I needed that door in the end to make an indoor salt
The
bin.
other end of the building doesn't have a door.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't have a door.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew that I needed, because I had the whole building was wide open.
Yeah, but there's only one end of the building that has a garage door.
Has a garage door. So I knew I wanted that at the end for the salt bin.
Right.
So I say, okay, so I'll take 208 and 210. Those are the last buildings, right? And so it's got the mezzanine office in there, and I told him, listen, we'll take all the stuff that's in our building, and you don't have to worry about it. We'll get our guys in here, and we'll move it all down into the very first section of garage next to Brian's office section.
Yeah.
So we went in there real quickly with a forklift, hustled everything down, leaf blowers, blew it all out. And I said, I will put up the demising wall between this space and those. And at that time, I didn't know who Brian. Nobody was renting it.
It was empty. It was for sale.
So we put it up. We put up the demising wall real quickly, separate our 2 buildings from the 5, and the day before closing, the Village of Airmont comes by to do a CO inspection. Prior to closing, you got to have make sure you have no zoning violation, no building violation.
Oh, the office, right?
The mezzanine offices were built illegally.
Nobody knew it.
Nobody knew it.
The cabinet company just put them up.
Yeah, while they're in there.
Yeah, inside the building while they're there.
After they're already operating.
Yeah. And so I go, Arthur, we got a problem. I was planning on running my offices out of there. Now I don't have a mezzanine office. I said, and he's the 80-year-old guy. You're already getting a good price. I go, yeah, but Arthur, I got to spend money now. I got to build offices. I got to do everything. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is perfect because now I'm going to get to build the offices the way that I want.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll tell you what, $35,000 off. I'll have that building down tonight, and we can still close tomorrow.
So it's not what you have there now. Was totally
nothing.
Different.
It was just wide open building.
So what was this?
It was a similar thing, just all glass walls, and it's
but up on I-beams.
Yeah.
Oh.
Up on I-beams and bolted to the floor.
Ours is fully framed,
like
floating,
freestanding.
So floating, kind of.
Yeah, like freestanding.
You could go under it.
Go right under it with a forklift.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, but it was sturdy.
Yeah.
So we went in there. I got all the guys together, and we went in that night, and tore it all down. Put all the metal on a trailer, scrapped the metal over to Teplitz's, kept all the windows, stacked them, and we stacked them in the next empty building, in Arthur's building, right? We're like, we wanted out of here. We blew it. The next morning, building inspector came in. Everything was gone. He signed off on it. That afternoon, we closed on the building.
Oh, sick.
But I got the buildings for $635.
Yeah.
I got them $300 on one and $335 on the other.
Yeah.
And so it was phenomenal. And then we just hustled the construction crew in there framed up the offices, all the mechanical rooms, so then I had to separate brand. How do I want the snow to operate? We built the indoor salt bin first, and then how do I want this to operate? And it started with a showroom upstairs for the construction guy. We don't ever use that.
Yeah.
But, it's basically a conference room, and I was afraid at that time.
That was a big purchase.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a steady nut every month. Besides the insurance, and it's a condominium, so you got your maintenance and common charges. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, and I'm doing it through the SBA, which is supposed to be. It's a small business administration. It's supposed to help small businesses. Stay as far away from the small. If I can give you one piece of advice in this video, stay as far away from the small business administration. They're not out to help you, right? So my mortgage is $7,000 a month from the SBA on that building. I'm like, okay, no problem. I got contracts in place. We can cover this. I get going, and my bank that helped me with the SBA thing is now changing and gonna merge with another bank. And things are just getting funky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm not liking this. So I reach out, have my office manager reach out to like 5 banks and say, we want everybody come in, make a presentation. We want to bring our business to you. This is the volume of business we do a year, blah, blah, blah. So we got them all. And TD came in. And those guys came in. I'll tell you a quick funny story. KeyBank comes in, makes a presentation. This guy sits at the end of my conference table and says, we can't help you. 3 years later, I got this major contract with the city.
Yeah.
Everybody, he's in my office. He's banging on my door. He wants to come. And so I invite him upstairs. Now he's looking for my business.
Yeah.
And I said, have a seat right in that chair. Same chair he sat in, Brandon told me he couldn't do anything for me. I said, you got a short memory. I said, that chair feel comfortable? I said, because the same chair you sat in there 3 years ago and you told me you can't do anything. Guess what? We can't do anything for you. Basically, get your ass
Karma,
on out of here.
Yeah. Karma.
Yeah.
Well, we've been with TD.
But the guys from TD Bank, Justin, Rich, and Tom, superstars.
Yeah.
Superstars. To the point that they come in here and Richie and Justin pull me aside and go, listen. And we've become really good friends, right? And Tom's a super guy. You're paying what? I said, 7. He goes, dude, we're going to get you down to 3. They knocked me down to $3,000 a month. We did a little bit of finagling. We came up with a little bit of money. We paid down a little bit. And that's substantial.
Yeah. It's huge.
Substantial.
So how did they do that? They just extended the terms? Like
So we
how many years?
So we went to a 15-year term, 3 5s. And I think I put down $100,000 more.
Yeah.
Paid down on the note a little bit. The SBA allows you to get a 5% loan, right? You're great. You're buying the property, but meanwhile you got a noose around your neck every month because you got these high payments, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I had squirreled away some money, paid down on it, and was able to do that. And now we don't hardly own anything on the building, right?
So,
but hold on. So 2010. We take over January 1. I have our contacts out there with Maryland, New Jersey, Virginia. I had sent out to their emergency standby contractor for snow removal. I had sent out my information.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're ever in need of anything, and I didn't know where it went.
That's our Maryland trip coming up.
I send Nevin
Not me.
I send Nevin, put him on a plane. I send him to Wisconsin. At that point, Nevin was running all over the countryside for me.
Yeah.
Right? I had worked out a deal with Nevin by the hour, no matter what. Boom. So I send Nevin out to Wisconsin. He's picking up a tandem. He gets out there, and he was great because he knows equipment inside and out.
Right.
And the guys, he's like, no, listen, guys, I got to drive this truck from Wisconsin to New York. You said this truck was DOT ready. It's not. That tire's got a slit in it, this, that. So Nevin was good. Got them all to fix it, right? All right, it takes me an extra 10 hours, but the truck's coming back. He literally hopped off the New York State Thruway. We had, the night before, just finished up a snowstorm. He's pulling in, so Dennis Burns at that point is like, when's that truck hitting? Let's get that truck geared up. No problem, Den. He's going to be hitting at lunchtime. Boom. All right, so I'll make sure I'm in the yard. He's there. We're waiting with the loader to unload the wing and plow, get it on it, right? Get it all ready for us. Nevin says, hey, I'm starving. You want to go over to the diner? Dennis is like, hey, he had a helper with him. I'll get this truck all set. And Dennis was into the equipment, right? He wanted to get the truck running and check it out.
And you can leave him and you know it's
without a doubt. I didn't have to worry about anything with him. And so me and Nevin go over to the Airmont Diner. And all of a sudden, my phone's ringing and it says, Maryland State Highway Administration. I'm like, Neff, what the hell are they calling me for? Let me take this.
Yeah, the last call you're expecting.
Hey, how are you? Yo, you had sent us some information. Yo, we're in a bad place down.
How many years ago did you send the information? Was it that year or the previous?
Like 2008.
So they had it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
They probably have a list of all people they can call.
But it's just so crazy they actually kept it.
They gather it. So they say we're in a bad way down here, and this is the year that there was back-to-back blizzards.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no problem. What do you need? She goes, we need motor graders. I go, you need motor graders for what? I said, you need wheel loaders. She goes, how many can you get? I go, well, I can get you 6 right away. I said, but I'm going to need a couple things. I need a state of emergency declaration signed by the governor. I said, I need that emailed to us right away. I'm going to send you over our rate structure. Our rate structure is portal to portal. Means when we load, we come back to New York, we get paid for travel, we get paid for truck, we get paid standby time if we're down there. And we had a couple little things we had to do on the run once we got down there. We had to get a hold of them real quickly, and they were good about it. Is that I can't explain to you guys. This place was in chaos.
I was there.
Oh, you were there. You were there. You worked it. You worked it. That's right. You did with the white pickup truck. That's right.
This is the one thing that's happened in like the history of the snowmobile company that I wish I was actually.
Oh, it was crazy. It was honestly when you're down there and you start realizing that they don't have any equipment. Like when you grow up with dad's equipment, right?
You're just so accustomed to it.
You see it all, and like even when I lived in South Carolina, and you drive by the county lots, and they have like a 1V plow that's got chunks missing out of the bottom. That's what they're relying on in case they get a snowstorm. And you show down there, and Brent, I shit you not, snow piles.
How old were you?
I was
2010.
20,
That was
20. Yeah, 20-ish or 21.
A little bit older.
Yeah. So I drove down there, and I remember those piles were huge. Brent, there was
they didn't know what to do with it.
Nothing. You could go around. Pop dropped. There was so much snow that Pop dropped his cell phone, and we spent 25 minutes looking through the snow pile because we had no idea where it fell into a mountain of snow.
It was, again, so certain things happen. It's going to snow another major blizzard. But when I tell you, basically, I don't know, 10 miles northeast of the Delaware Memorial Bridge, Chris, right? It's that snow line is not going to pass there.
Yeah.
So we're like, we got all this equipment. We head over to Pfizer. So the reason behind getting the declaration of state of emergency from the governor
so you can just
is I can get over 80,000 pounds with the low boys.
Overload the trucks, and you don't have to stop. Well, you do have to go through the weigh stations, but
so we were able to put 2 loaders on each low boy.
Yeah.
So I got a hold of Terrence, I got a hold of Bobby, and I got a hold of Leonard.
Yeah.
They each grabbed their low boys, boom, put 2 loaders on each, stacked the buckets on top, strapped them down, and I called your mother. I said, find us a hotel. We need to book a whole hotel. I've got 25 guys.
I need the entire hotel.
I got 25 guys coming down there. We need it.
It was cool. The caravan going out and seeing the trucks pull in and seeing everything.
Everyone probably loved it. You don't get to do anything like that.
It's an exciting experience, too.
Brandon, we're going down there, and all of a sudden, we get over to Delaware Memorial Bridge. You know, that's 4 or 5 lanes in some points.
Yeah.
It's down to 1 lane, dude.
Yeah.
It is 3 feet of snow from the Jersey barrier
all the way across
out to the slow lane.
Wow.
They totally lost it.
They couldn't keep up with it.
Totally
There was
lost
nothing
it.
they could do.
So we get down there and we get into Maryland, and what's open in the middle of this blizzard?
Wait
For the wait station. We pull in. The thing is bouncing 108,000 pounds, right? The Maryland State Troopers are inside. They think, it's a $1 a pound, right? Overweight, blah, blah,
Is that
blah.
what it is?
Back in the day it was. I don't know what the hell it is now, right? And they're bouncing around like, oh, we got the jackpot here. We got 3 trucks, all right? And I get out and every truck.
They knew just looking at the trucks as soon as you pulled it.
They didn't at this point. They didn't have any idea what the State Highway Administration was doing.
No. But those guys in the weigh station in the scale house, they see those trucks pulling in. They're like, oh, this is over.
They're like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100.
So they're going to take us out of service, right? So every truck I had in every guy's driver's side door, every single truck had a copy of the stated Declaration of Emergency signed by the governor. So they pull it out, and the guys were super cool. You're down here to help us? Let me get you out of here. Matter of fact, let me give you a little escort.
But you're in Delaware or you're in Maryland?
We're in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Just as you get into Maryland,
it's probably a good.
Right down the right.
Probably a good thing you didn't get stopped until you were in Maryland.
We would have had it anyway.
Yeah, but what good does a Maryland's governor?
Emergency. No, it's emergency. Nationwide. It's a declaration of emergency.
Statewide, not nationwide.
No, they have some carte blanche. They can't let their state fail.
Every state honors it, Brent.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They're in need.
It's like an executive order, kind of.
So we get down there. We were stationed in Annapolis. And so we were down there for 21 days.
But you had to come back and forth, didn't you?
So once we got it set up, I never ran the program. We were running 24/7 loaders every 12 hours, new operator in it, hotel, boom. And then Chris was out with the pickup truck doing traffic.
You were the fuel truck.
I had a fuel truck.
Fuel tank in the back of it.
I was tailing people, making sure everybody was all right, getting them moving people around.
So once we got done with what we could do with the buckets, after the first night, I saw what we needed. So I relayed home to Jason Parente, and I said, Jay, I need somebody to go to my yard, and I need you to get me 3 quick coupler plows down here rapidly. So the kid that owns the garage in Tompkins Cove now, Pat Larkin's station, Brent?
Yeah.
He was young at the time. He threw them on a trailer and hustled them down there in the middle of the night for us. We put them on, and we went 3 loaders wide.
Just pushing snow.
Pushing it back, and man, it was a mess.
The snow had to be flying over the top of the plows, right?
Brent, it
huge, dude.
It was huge.
Yeah, you're going through 6 feet of snow.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
The edges were insane.
But you're down there. And then another snowstorm hits in New York while you're down there.
So I call my contact at State Highway Administration. I go, listen, we got a snowstorm at home. I got to run home and do that snowstorm. We load up everything real quickly. Boom, haul ass home. Finish up the snowstorm. Buckle them right back down and right back down.
All those loaders needed to be used here.
Oh, so...
You couldn't? Did you leave any equipment in Maryland?
No, nothing.
Not a single piece of
equipment. We didn't leave nothing.
It all came back home, and then it all went back down.
Brent, as soon as we were done, right on and gone.
Wow.
Oh yeah, tired. We were tired puppies, and we
done.
just made it happen. And the guys down there were super awesome. They're like, guys, listen. There was like at that snowstorm, there was like 7 big contractors down there.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't say enough. You guys are the only ones that aren't banging the living daylights out of the guardrails. I go, listen, because we come from an environment. If we break it, we pay for it.
Yeah.
My operators are not banging up things. And
at this point, a lot of the guys pretty much all the guys that you had down there, minus Chris, have been with you for multiple years. Chris is just young. And
for 20 years.
Yeah. So everybody, it gets to the point where you don't even have to explain it to them anymore. They just know.
Nothing. These guys are just good operators. Yeah. They know the deal. And but listen, you could be 10 hours into a 12-hour shift and get tired. And something can happen.
Yeah.
Right. And they knew that I wasn't going to ream their ass out. It is what it was. But we didn't do any damage. And the guys were awesome because the Annapolis garage that we were working out of, a brand new facility with a drive-through tractor trailer long wash bay.
Yeah.
And we were out there. Their scenario, Chris, I don't know if you remember, their scenario, Brand, was dump as much rock salt on the ground as you possibly could.
Yeah.
Their trucks were mangled. Their trucks were off the side of the road. They were bringing them in with tow trucks, Brand, with the plow wrapped underneath.
And you're in Maryland, and Port of Maryland is one of the biggest salt ports on the Northeast, right?
they don't know if they can, budget-wise, we're on day 12. They don't know if they can let us go because they've got a gigantic ship coming in. They don't know if they're going to have enough money to pay for the salt on the ship, keep us going. And finally, the governor says, listen, we're making great progress here. Keep those guys working.
Yeah, we got to
get that salt off there. We'll figure it out.
The whole state's shut down for 20 days. If
oh
they
my
don't
God,
get it done.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It was.
But it's crazy because they don't get snow like that.
That's what happened.
But
and cold temperatures.
Besides Newark, is Maryland the next biggest salt port? Newark and Maryland, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Those are like the two. You don't drive past Maryland, the port of Maryland, and not see a pile of salt there. Never.
You can't miss it.
No,
middle of the summer, piles of salt.
Yeah, well, that's the key time to get it restocked.
Well, yeah, but
so we have that happen, right? And so I actually in 2010, I get interviewed by Snow Business Magazine. I think it was GIE Media came up and did it, and it was taking it to the streets because John and Kevin, who I was talking about stuff, they behind the scenes we were talking, and I told them I got to separate myself, and then I went the municipal route, and I got the contract. So now they do a full-blown article on us, and it says taking it to the streets.
Yeah, this is a picture
with us leaning up against the plow.
Up against the plow.
Yeah. And so we do a whole full-blown article, and so that winter we go down there, we do that snowstorm, and we're bang. I mean, we're just in full sprint mode, right? And we'll rest when April and May comes. So we're in full sprint mode, and the secretary calls me and says, "Hey, the commissioner of sanitation from New York City wants to talk with you."
Yeah.
I do another one of those head takes, like
just one thing after another.
What's he want me for?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's funny because it's sanitation. So
yeah.
The last thing you're thinking is snow coming from the sanitation guy.
So I return the call, and he says, "Hey, I have a little bit of an issue, with some snow plow and stuff. I'd like to come up and talk to you." So he comes up, and when you're the commissioner of sanitation, you're sitting in the passenger seat. You got a guy that drives you up. You got drivers. You got people, right?
He's probably in a Prius too.
So he comes in and he's got a copy of the magazine in his hand. Taking it to the streets. He goes, "Yeah, I think you might have some knowledge of what we need to handle for our tertiary streets. We've got a problem with the sanitation trucks. They can't get down them. We're not being responsive enough, and we're having problems, and blah 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 blah." And and I'm basically, so we walk around our equipment, and I tell him, I think I said, if you give me a day or two to think about this, sit on it. And so the next morning I call him, I think I got a good program for you that we can put together, that I think we can get through any kind of snowstorm that you get. And so that's awesome. We're going to have our pre-bid conference. Everything down the city is gigantic, right? I get the bid books. They're this big, right? Your mother lost me for like a month just going through every page and Post-it notes and this. And she's like, "Am I ever going to see you again?" I go, "When I'm done with this bid, right? So I go to the pre-bid conference, and it's in a gigantic conference room, right? And they got a big dais up at the top, and everybody's up there, and the commissioner of sanitation's up there who I talk to. And as I'm signing in, that copy of that Snow Business magazine is sitting on the table. The woman grabs it, and she goes, "That's you!"
What a cool experience for you.
Oh, yeah, that's me. That's me. And so I get in there.
Was that the first magazine you were in?
First magazine, full-blown photos, but other magazines with coverage with Snow Business and with SEMA.
Yeah,
okay. I used to go to all their conferences and stuff like that, right? I just choose now in life to fly below the radar. Just do our thing and stay below the radar. And so I go in, I sit in this gigantic conference room with everybody, and I mean, it's full with all the big contractors, not snow, but construction contractors. Tully, Echo, Halmar, all these big contractors. And so they're, once they go through everything and they start, asking, anybody got any questions? Let's go through any questions you may have. And one of the contractors says, "Hey, if we have a triaxle on that construction job, can we use that triaxle for the snowplow and use that?" And they go, "No, you absolutely cannot. If that VIN number is registered to another DSNY contract, it cannot." And a light bulb moment went off, and I said, those guys are iced out of this.
Yeah,
They're not going to pull their equipment off of a good paying construction job to wait around for this basically on-call snow plowing. And they're not going to put the money into the snow plowing equipment that they need. Meanwhile, it's pennies on a dollar for those guys. They're wealthy guys. And so what I did was I went in and I took all of the districts that they have, and in every district you have a bunch of tertiary streets, and I know that you can do 6 miles of road in 2 hours. Basically, we never get over an inch an hour, inch and a half an hour here. That's the most we've ever had.
Yeah.
And we can manage that without getting to the penalty phase of having a 4-inch accumulation on the road. After the initial 4-inch trigger, right? You got a 4-inch trigger, then you start plowing, and then anytime after that, if you have 4 inches or more on the road, you got a $375 per half hour penalty until that is cleared. They had guys that they called it stick in the snow.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of guys driving around in all these EVs.
The Priuses.
With wooden yardsticks.
It was for real Priuses. Driving all over
wooden yardsticks, right? And they're sticking the snow. So I figured that I would take every 6-mile component. There were components. There were districts that had 220 miles. And I'm like, that's going to take 15 trucks. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want this 6-miler. I want that 18-miler. I want that 12-miler. I can put 3 trucks there. I can put 2 trucks there, 1 there. So here's full story, right? So now I lose 30% of money with John Allen out the Palisades Center, right? When I take that offer, 70 cents on the dollar. Instead of being thick-headed and saying to myself, he's screwed, I reach out to John and I go, listen, I need you. John's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant when it comes to, he's brilliant all the way around, right? He's just really sharp with snow. I said, hey, I got an opportunity at the Department of State. Oh, that's a good opportunity. Okay, tell me what you got. So I put together my whole thing. I send him over everything, and I've got everything covered right from top to bottom, every contingency type of plan. And he says, you got it covered. You're good. You're good. Let's see where it goes from here, right? So now he's consulting to me. Now I'm paying him, right?
Yeah.
And so I send the bid in the day before it's due, FedEx it down, get the electronic receipt that they received it. I'm going to head down the next morning. I've got a car service going to drive me down. I don't want to drive down myself. I want to be able to think about what I'm going to be doing. So I get on Henry Hudson.
His car service is coming.
It's closed. Henry Hudson's closed. I'm sitting in traffic. The bid opening's 9 a.m. I'm getting there. I get there like 10 minutes after 9. The door's locked. Me and another guy from Virginia who was bidding on it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Right? The rule back then, you had to be within 50 miles of the headquarters of the Department of Sanitation. So what these guys did from Massachusetts, from Virginia, is they rented a bodega and got a New York address and met the 50 miles. Meanwhile, their equipment's nowhere to be found, right? We were 38 miles from there.
At our actual shop.
At our actual shop, where the equipment was and everything, right? So I'm listening.
No, so they let you in?
No.
Oh, you're listening through the door. Through the door.
We're standing in the hallway, me and a guy from Virginia, and we're listening. And I'm hearing, this knucklehead landscaper from Massachusetts, right? He bid like the same number. And I don't know, it was like $13,266 on every single district. Every single district. Me and the other guy, I look at him and go, I'm out of here. And they would run CSB contractors, $78,000. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. I go back. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. One of the attorneys, we would like to talk with you. And
so you never made it in, and they still called you?
Yeah, because they opened up all the bids. They went through everything.
People are bidding on it that didn't meet the bid spec.
Yeah, so
so they're not leading on to anything. They just want to talk with me.
Yeah.
And I go, what's the matter? You got a problem with your low bidder? Oh, we can't say anything, but we would like to meet with you. I'm going to send you an email. Can you please respond? And blah, blah, blah. So the email comes. They want to meet with me down at Chambers Street. This is our big headquarters, right? So I called John, and me and John knew right away that there was a low bidder problem. They say they want to see 5 years financials. They want to see this. They want to see that. So we put it all together real quickly. I get a car service. John flies in, rents a car, stays at a local hotel. I'm covering all of his costs. Me and him meet at the office one morning, 7:30, have a couple bagels, a cup of coffee real quickly. We got a 10 o'clock meeting down at Chambers Street. Boom, get in the car. We're down there. We're there 20 minutes early. We walk in with everything. I sit, the head of the table is a commissioner, and I sit right to his right side. First chair, then John, the whole other side. Now, guys, this conference room, this table's like 30 feet long.
Jeez.
Wow. It's massive.
Chairs all around it, a walking aisle, and then two more sets of chairs, one lower and two. You fit a lot of people.
Wow.
It's in the city, sanitation.
I'm going to try and Google a picture of it and put it on top of the video.
The city of New York, sanitation's a big deal down there, right? And so the whole other cross side of the table, mayor's office, mayor's first assistant, every attorney from everything, right? So what ended up happening was back then, that was Michael Bloomberg was the mayor. He went away on a beach vacation. They had a blizzard, and he forgot to trip. They have a snow emergency trigger down there. When they trigger that puts all of the Department of Sanitation on notice that every plow truck has to be ready, every salt truck. And they start, down there, you got to start 2 days in advance because it's just so vast, right? And so they forgot to trip it. So they get caught in the same type of scenario down the city, right? And this is the same year, right? So now what they get screamed at and yelled at, right? And now they're going to Bloomberg's going to fix the problem. He's going to hire subcontractors, private sector, to handle all the tertiaries because of the sanitation department. Even though the union says that we can handle anything, they can't. They just can't keep up with it.
So I have a question. When they're putting plows on their dump trucks, their garbage trucks.
Garbage halts.
They don't pick up garbage.
Halts.
Yep.
They'll leave certain trucks for heavy areas to grab the garbage. During a snow event, it halts.
Wow.
And it piles up, and then they just work overtime and get it cleaned up.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah. So we get down there, we're in the thing, and I go, guys, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I've got a really good guess that you got a problem with your low bidder. And the attorney, we can't say anything. I go, listen, if you think that we're down here and we're going to match those numbers, we might as well just end it right now because we're not doing it. It ain't happening. I said, if you want to negotiate fairly across the board, we give a little bit, you give a little bit, all day long, we'll do it.
Yeah, but you're talking a $50-something thousand difference from the low bidder to your bid.
Brand, that's just for that.
That one.
That's just for that district.
Yeah. So the compromise is far off from the low bidder.
Big time. And so I'm sitting right next to the commissioner of sanitation. And so he goes and he starts reviewing my whole packet, and he's physically been to our shop.
Yeah.
He's physically touched the equipment. He sat in my office.
Multiple times they came up and looked at the equipment.
Multiple times. We've had heart-to-heart conversations, explaining to him and understanding what we need to do and that we can pull this off for them, right? And he starts going through the whole litany of they're qualified on this basis. They're qualified on this. So basically, he gets done. He looks to his left down his row and he goes, I don't know what you need to do, but you need to figure out a way to get CSB contractors hired. They can take care of what we need to be taken care of. So, ding. Now we've been deemed not qualified low bidder, but we've been deemed the qualified bidder.
Yeah.
And he said it right out of his mouth. So boom. So we start to talk back and forth. And anytime you go into a big meeting like that, there's a big sign-in sheet. Everybody signs in their name, their department, their email, their phone number. I ask for a copy of the sign-in sheet before we leave. They make me a photocopy. We're talking. We go through a ton of stuff, guys.
What did you want the sign-in sheet, just to see who the other people are?
I just because I like to have contacts, and you'll see in a minute why I do this. So we go through a litany of everything: financials, the equipment, years experience, all this stuff, right? And again, they have a copy of the magazine we're written up on. The magazine's sitting right in the middle of the conference table again, right? And so we leave. We have casual conversation as we're walking out of the building, and a couple of attorneys that really like what we were doing and what we could bring to help them out. And so we get going, and a couple of emails go back and forth, but nothing substantial. So your mom wants to go down to start looking at houses in North Carolina, right? The last thing on my mind, I'm thinking I could land a big contract here.
Yeah.
We could get to the next level, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you're landing that contract to buy her.
She's like,
you're looking at making money. She's looking at spending money.
I'm done with she's done with Old Forge, right? I'm done with the cold, and no, I want to go down. So I'm in the passenger seat of the car. I go, where are we going? She goes, we're going down to Wilmington. I go, well, how did you figure this out? She says, I researched it and blah, 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 blah. And she goes, what's the matter with you? I go, I think they're trying to ice me out on this contract. Because if they don't respond within 30 days, the bid's dead.
Yeah.
So I've got a whole stack of paper. I'm in his passenger seat. I've got that sign-in sheet. I call one attorney that I was chummy with.
Yeah.
But nothing special. And I said, hey, what's going on? Hey, George, how'd you make out with that contract? I said, I got a problem. I said, my attorneys are going to contact you this afternoon. I think they're trying to ice me out on the bid. We're going to protect our bidders, right? We've been deemed a low qualified bidder, blah, 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 blah. We haven't heard anything back from you guys. But whoa. Take a breather. I thought this was done.
This is the attorney telling you that.
This is the attorney. Give me 20 minutes. So he calls this gentleman, Kirking, who's in the mayor's office and responsible for contracts and everything. The next thing I know, he called me right back. He says, you will have a counter offer tomorrow morning. So the counter offer,
I don't know who.
Counter offer comes in like clockwork the next morning. Within 1 hour, we counter and it's done. Deal's done.
So
done.
They were just
Queens,
holding.
200 miles of road in Queens, done. Signed, finito. Now I've got 200 miles of road in Queens to plow.
Well, but we're in Brooklyn.
No, I'll tell you.
Oh.
They don't give us Brooklyn. This knucklehead landscaper from Massachusetts has got it, and another guy's got it, a bunch of other guys, right? So now I got to figure out how do we do this and not screw up, right? So I hire a company out of Manassas, Virginia, a routing company. I give them all of our streets. They come up with routing software. Putting in the Garmin GPS's brand.
Yeah.
Queens West 1, Queens West 2, Queens 13, 14, all those things you had.
Yep.
That's that company. So, because I knew when it was snowing, how are we going to see street signs? How are my guys even going to know where they're going?
And there's
tiny
so many one-ways down there.
Oh my, too many one-ways.
Yeah, if you don't live there and drive those roads every day, you have no clue where you're going.
And we're sending guys down that aren't in that environment, right?
Yeah.
So I had to idiot-proof it pretty well. And listen, that worked out beautiful, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody went down. Everybody had maps. Everybody had sign-in sheets. And as soon as I get this contract, right? And here's a full circle. You guys are gonna. You might have heard me say this already, but who are the first two guys? I get this contract. Who are the first two guys that I call? Steve Farkas and Rick Gustafson. Do you remember those two names?
Yeah, one of them was like a cop or something down there. Or...
No. That's second. I'll get to that.
Okay.
Steve and Rick are the guys that I bought the snow room equipment from for Hornicks in the Bank of New York.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 80s.
Okay.
So I call them up and I go, they had just sold the marina and just retired. I call them up and I go, what are you two doing? I go, I got a proposition. If you're open to it, I need you to come over to my office. So Steve is living in Big Moose up in Old Forge. Rick is still living in Stony Point. Rick, we're on a conference call. Rick says, Steve, you tell me what day you can be in. Steve's like, I'll drive down tomorrow. We come in, so I sit down with those guys and I go, listen, no matter what you're doing, $100 an hour, blah, 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 blah. Really? All right, I'm coming out of retirement. So they came out of retirement. And they did a phenomenal job. They're great guys. And I knew from them being business owners that we were just, we weren't going to fail. It just wasn't going to happen, right? So what I did was I doubled the amount of trucks that I thought I needed. Right? I was I think I was the only contractor that put in there a guaranteed seasonal mobilization fee. Every single month we were getting paid no matter what. And then if it triggered, we got up to 12 inches was X, and we're talking, I don't know if it's a way to number, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Every time it got triggered, right, for Queens. We're not the first snowstorm in. I get a phone call from my lovely friend Kirk Ing. He goes, we got a problem in Brooklyn. I go, what's the matter? We got 100 and some miles over there. The guy no-showed us. I go, really? All right, send it over to me.
So that's how I ended up in the city.
Yeah.
Send it over to me. Let's start our little process, Kirk. So within a day, we had it signed and done.
Yeah.
Done. Now we got 300 miles of road.
Yeah.
And then we did it, and I sort of get my own way because we had an extension available to us. And we were the only contractor, and anybody can look it up on the Department of Sanitation records. We were the only contractor that never got a penalty.
Not a single penalty.
Not a single penalty.
Not a single half-hour penalty.
Not a single penalty. When we got Brooklyn, I reached out to Bill Kingston. Bill was a lieutenant in the NYPD, retired, worked right in Brooklyn.
Yeah, so he knew all
He
the
said,
roads.
I'm on it. No problem.
Yeah.
And so with somebody like Bill,
So Bill must have been my supervisor.
Bill was your supervisor.
Yeah, because I was in Brooklyn.
You were in Queens.
Yep.
Yeah. And so Bill ran his own four-wheel drive truck, and he said, hey, I got my own four-wheel drive truck. I don't know the area. So we gave him a vehicle compensation along with his rate of pay.
Right.
So he used his own truck and everything. So we get one snowstorm, right? Decent snowstorm. I think it's 11 inches. So we're doing it, right? We're all good. And, and I've got...
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
So we get a phone. I'm in the office, right? Your Uncle Dennis is running the snow program for the city. I'm handling the other stuff. We've got the big screen TV in the conference room. And we've also, besides the GPSs, we've got tracking units.
Yeah, so you can see on a map.
We can see every
where
truck.
every
right?
truck is.
Every truck.
Yeah.
And then if we want to get deeper,
you can track where they went.
We log into the tracking company software, and it's layered in colors of how many times that truck's been down the street.
Yeah.
So we can tell if you've been down it 3 or 4 times.
There's
5
no
times.
secrets about where these trucks are.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, what's his name? The head of the Senate, not the commissioner, but oh my God. He calls me up and sends me a text message. Hey, we got a snow issue on such and such road, blah, 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 blah. No problem. I'm going to send somebody right away. I send Bill. And he goes down there. Bill sends a picture. Our roads are blacktop. Sends a picture the other way. They're snow covered. So we send it back to him. And Bill's sharp. He takes street signs, everything, right? Bill goes, that's their street. That ain't our street. So I send it back to him. And I go, hey, you got a problem. That's your street. Our street's blacktop. He goes, let me check it.
Yeah.
He goes, George, you're 100% correct. I'll see you at the breakdown meeting. Because after every snowstorm, 2 days after the snowstorm, we would have a breakdown meeting.
So you would have to go down there
after every snowstorm. And so we get down there, and I don't realize, but the clown from Massachusetts is in there. He's in there earlier. He gets to get there an hour early because he gets an ass reaming session because he's just a knucklehead.
Wait, why was he there if you have his roads now?
He probably had
No,
more.
he had other roads.
Oh, so he took on more than...
I don't know if he was the one in Brooklyn that lost it. I don't know. I didn't get into all the weeds of that. I thought he was. But every single snowstorm was a screw up, right?
Yeah,
not enough trucks, not enough
Getting
guys.
penalized left and right.
And they kept him around because guess what? He was a bottom feeder.
Yeah, he's not. They're not paying him much money.
Not paying him a lot of money, so we'll just put up with the aggravation and use him for what we can. So he's in there. He's getting his pee-pee spanked there an hour before everybody else. So we get in there, and all of a sudden, man, I wish I knew his name. Big guy, he ran these meetings. He was like, he goes, listen to me. And this comment is going to my guys. You ever embarrass me like you embarrassed me the other night and send me a picture of a street that you're saying at a contractor, and all because you don't want a non-union private contractor plowing snow in the city, you should do a better job yourself. And I'm going to tell you right now, you stick a street and you send it to us as the contractor street and it ends up being ours, you're going to get 3 days non-paid off.
Jeez.
Shoot, and I'll drop an F-bomb. F-bomb, F around with me again and see how it works out. And man,
he was strict.
Oh, he was pissed.
Yeah.
After that, not a word.
Yeah,
And they actually came to me and said, we can't figure out how you're doing it. I said, guys, I sent you
the plan,
all the mapping. I sent you 5-inch binders.
Yeah, you have everything on how we're doing it.
And map it. You got it. We mapped it. I said, I paid $80,000 for a routing company to make routing software.
80 grand.
80 grand.
Jesus.
To make routing software.
This is why I think go back to the consulting thing. Like the amount of preparation you put in to handle something you've never.
I didn't want to fail.
And you don't drive. You don't drive in the city, so you're not familiar yourself. You put in a ton
I know in the city, and I knew the environment would be really, really crazy in a snowstorm, Chris.
Yeah. It'd be rigid, yeah.
But also another thing that you have behind you that a lot of these other guys who are like landscapers and whatnot bidding on it is you have the experience of dealing with these big contracts and knowing.
And I personally deal with myself.
Right, and knowing what you need to put in
I don't have
them.
a salesman. I don't have anything. I deal with myself.
You know how to protect yourself, what to look out for.
Where these other guys are coming in.
I've learned from bumps and bruises.
Oh, yeah.
They're bidding low, and you probably knew that you were going to, like when you were submitting your bid, you knew that you were going to have to pay X amount of dollars. You probably didn't know it was going to be 80 grand, but you knew you were going to pay something to figure out
how to do it.
Yeah. And make it flawless.
And how to be accountable.
These other guys are not thinking about that.
I still have the spreadsheet that I sent to John Allen.
Yeah.
Brandon, I had garage rental in the city, right? Because we didn't know staging areas at the time. At the end, we ended up using Home Depots, right?
Yeah.
4 trucks at this Home Depot.
The amount of time I spent sitting in a Home Depot parking lot.
But Brandon, there's the crazy thing about these contracts, right? The trigger is a 4-inch trigger for us to start.
Yeah.
We have no salting responsibility whatsoever. The DSNY will salt all the streets.
Yeah.
I said, guys, this is a recipe for disaster. We should be salting. No, well, then we can't account for the salt that you. Okay, whatever. You think we're gonna whatever? You know, if they think they're gonna steal salt, okay, whatever. You handle the salting.
Which was probably the best thing. Is them
it ended up
the
being good.
Yeah.
It ended up being good, right? So I figure out the formula. I figure out F350 pickups, F350 to 550 Mason dumps, 9-foot plows.
A 550 is tight on some of those streets.
Yeah, sure. And after the first snowstorm,
a 350 is tight on some of those
So after the first snowstorm, when it came back, and we got all the input from the drivers, some trucks we had to back down from a 9 to an 8-footer.
Yeah.
Right?
It just was too big.
So that's why I have so many Western plows, Brand.
Yeah.
Because I kept whatever. If we had 10 9-footers in inventory, I would keep 3 in the rack.
Yeah.
Same thing with 8-footers.
Right.
Middle of the storm, the James Black, who was originally running, who had a route, he wasn't running it, but he had a route in Brooklyn. Middle of the night, he pops his plow. He shoots up an hour. We circle a spare truck into his route. He shoots up to the office. I've got 3 spare trucks sitting there. Leaves his truck, gets in our truck, goes back down, plows his route, says, hey, I know I'm going to owe you money for... You don't owe me anything, James. You did it. No, you're really not going to charge me for... No, I'm not going to bang you for that. You hustled your butt up here. You got in that truck. You got it done. You got the work done. We got no penalties.
He didn't just quit.
It's done. It is what it is, James. It is. Get your truck fixed and let's get back at it. And in that point, what did I do? I could have banged him, right, for $600-700 for the truck rental. But what I solidified was a solid employee for us.
Yeah.
Right? Over a lousy $600. I didn't. He's not going to make or break us. For him, it might.
Yeah. For him, that's that whole storm.
That's that whole storm. Going to lose money, right, on it.
And snowplow guys, I feel like getting a good group of guys that are willing to or able and willing to step up and plow.
It's blood money.
And a lot of them have regular jobs, so you have to find somebody that has a flexible job that's going to be
I've
reliable.
been blessed, Chris. Yeah. I've been blessed over the years. So a lot of the local excavation contractors that don't do snow, I've had their employees. And they know that I'm not going to steal their employees. Yeah. And what its benefits to them is that they know their employees not out looking for work somewhere else.
They're going to have money. They're going to be
They come to me. They know they're going to get paid a good rate of pay. They go back. As soon as we're done with snow, hey, thanks, man. I don't want nothing to do.
I'll see you next month.
Yeah,
I'll see you in 6 months.
No, hopefully like 8 months.
And Victor Zugaby is one of the guys that have, for ages, I've had a ton of Victor's guys, right? And that's where RJ and those guys come from.
You said in the snow removal you wanted to find a something to separate you from the pack.
Construction is hard to separate. Everyone's doing the same thing.
If you didn't have, do you think you'd be as successful if you didn't have that snow mentality of like trying to become as big, or would you just be like another, or would the construction company have grown bigger, do you think?
The biggest motivating factor for me is no failure.
Okay.
No failure. It doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't matter construction. Listen, I wasn't a trained carpenter.
Yeah.
I learned it all on the fly. And it's like, and I took the financial hit learning in the field, right? Because maybe I wasn't as fast as a guy that was trained and did all this. And I remember our first house that we framed, right? I framed every wall on the house in 2x6s. I didn't do the interior walls in 2x4s. What was I thinking? I just didn't know.
So
you know what I'm saying? The house was beautiful, money, everything. They had all 2x6 walls. Guess what? Now, the house is insulated well, and
a little overkill.
And I lost that money on material.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't. And I don't know if I. And listen, I had framed a ton of houses after that, but I got in a zone to where I just, for some reason, I ordered all 2x6s.
Yeah.
And
you
that's
just had them, you had to do it.
That's a job that I'm telling you guys that happened in 1986.
That's crazy.
And I remember it.
So what made you so hungry to find more, like to get ahead of the pack in snow removal versus construction?
Snow removal was getting overwhelmed by landscapers putting plows on their trucks, trying to find work in the winter.
Everything that I wanted to do extra in life seemed to come from my hard work in snow. Okay. If I wanted a second home, if I wanted this or I wanted that, I just knew that if I hustled my butt off in snow, I could do it.
Yeah.
And the thing about snow is it's here today, and most likely in a week it's melted down the catch basin.
These days it's gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, Brad.
Yeah.
Right? So nowadays it's completely different.
So you can make a good chunk of your money in less time.
Sure.
And you get to do it quick, and then.
I like it. Being efficient.
Yeah. Dude, well, there's something about snow removal. Like I'm even watching Brandon's video of him plowing, and I'm like, I genuinely enjoy plowing snow.
Yeah,
like
it's fun.
Cleaning up a lot and getting it from like the driveway. You were plowing the driveway in the video, seeing the driveway covered in snow and coming down and being like, at the end it's blacktop and it's just scraped clean.
It's satisfying.
And
it's
being
so
efficient.
Satisfying. Yeah.
For me, I would look at a lot, and within 2 minutes, I would know the most efficient way to clear it.
Yeah.
Oh, you told me, you yelled at me.
You got to come up with a plan.
Well, the first time I plowed for him, he goes, you're not being productive if your truck's going in reverse. And I was like, okay, I got to make loops only. I cannot go down.
You know how many times I heard that?
Yeah, a million.
You're going in reverse, you're losing money.
So let's get back to the snow. So the city comes eventually. Well,
we do that for 3 years.
But during those 3 years, do we go up to Orange County, or is that after?
No, we go up to Orange County.
During those 3 years?
Yeah. We've got Airmont, Palisade Center, no Nanuet Mall.
Pfizer. Which Pfizer changed to...
Yeah, we had Nanuet Mall at that.
Well,
no, we didn't have Nanuet Mall.
Yeah, they shut down. But Pfizer switched to whatever they became.
Pfizer got sold. It became that management company from California.
Yeah. And then we went up to Orange County.
And then the mayor saw what was friends with Dennis Kay and saw what we were doing.
So were we in the city when we started Blooming Grove? Or were we...
No,
was that after?
Yeah, we were already in the city.
So it's during those 3 years.
So Airmont negotiated in 2009, started on January 1 of 2010.
Okay.
2012 was the start of Blooming Grove.
And 2011 was New York City?
2011 to 2014.
So it was Airmont, New York City, Blooming Grove.
And then throw Maryland State Highway in the middle. Yeah. There, all that little shit in there. Yeah, just throw it all in.
So then moving up to Orange County is really when we cut everything except for roadways out of
no, I kept the Palisade Center, but
so you started touching on this before when they wanted to switch their contract from separate snow and whatever.
They had it was separate. Scott Curdy had the landscaping.
Yeah.
I had the snow.
Yeah. But at that point we were only doing loader work there.
No, I was doing everything, salting everything. And then they wanted to do a combo, so Scott was going to get it, and I said, listen, I don't want anything to do with the landscaping, so you get the contract, he gets the contract.
Yeah.
And I do the heavy lifting for him, just the loader work.
Yeah. Okay, so the mall went from us doing everything to Scott coming in and taking the contract, subbing the loader work out to us.
Yep.
So now we're just pushing piles of snow in parking lots.
Yep.
And they're not paying to move snow anymore.
No, because the malls are
dead. Yeah, nobody's going to the mall.
No, nothing.
Even you go to the mall now, you get a front row parking spot 90% of the time you go there.
Push it to the end, keep it within the painted box stripes so you can see them. Done.
So then, this is a few years ago now, probably two. When did we stop with the mall? 3 years ago?
It's been 2 years.
2 years. 2 years ago. Why did you want to get out of the mall?
So I had the mall for 8 years with Scott.
Yeah, that's what it was.
3 and 5, right?
If they watch the YouTube, they know that we sold.
They know. Yeah. So
yeah, we sold all of our loader equipment to Scott.
We sold all the mall equipment, loaders with pushers.
Yeah.
To Scott.
Yeah.
And I called up Scott and I said, listen, the mall had become a dead horse. We were getting to we were guaranteed season minimum. I had with Scott. Get that every single year, but would get nothing extra out of it.
Yeah.
Right. It's not snow, and we're so efficient with it.
You weren't making the money at the mall that you used to.
For having 8 loaders and the responsibility of putting 8 guys in there, I wanted to focus on our core business.
Yeah.
And I spoke to Scott and said, listen, I can do 2 things. I can either lease you the equipment and you put the operators in it, and I'll give you a couple guys that want to stay there.
Yeah.
Or I'll put together a package and sell you the whole thing. And he went with the latter.
Yep.
And worked out a 2-year deal. I want to tell you one thing about Scott Curdy. The man is a solid human being.
Yeah.
He has never wavered on one finance or any commitment that he's had with me.
And also another thing is Scott is realistically he is a competitor. He is. But he doesn't step on our toes.
We don't step on each other's toes.
Yeah. It goes both ways. But Scott is probably
he's the largest landscape.
Next in line to us is somebody who could move up to what we're doing.
Volume of snow, he probably does more than us.
Volume of snow, but level of roadways and stuff he's not doing.
No, nobody around here does the amount of roads.
Nobody does.
Nobody.
So
we've got 100 and some miles of road.
Yeah. Well, which is I think
it's fine for us.
But doing roadways is rare across the country.
Yeah, not very many guys do.
For a private contractor, it doesn't happen.
We are the highway department for them. They don't have a highway department.
Right. But at the end of the day, we're a private contractor doing roadways.
Yep.
And there's very few companies out there at all that are doing it.
We're 15 years into Airmont. You know why we're 15 years into Airmont? Because we do good work.
Yeah.
They never have to worry about us. The guys up in Blooming Grove, they call me up and they go, they got 2 contractors, one that does potholes and dead animals and right-of-way brush cleaning, and then the other contractors are snow.
Yeah.
They tell me, I sleep soundly on snow nights. I don't worry about you.
Yeah.
I know you're going to be there and get it done.
Yeah. It just happens.
That's how we get long-term customers.
So when they reached out and they wanted us to go up there and plow snow there, was that in your mind like, okay, we kept the one condominium complex that we do that we've just done forever.
I've had that for 35 years.
Yeah, never getting rid of it.
Yep.
Gonna do it probably forever. But at that point when they reached out, were you like, okay, roadways is what we're doing, and like we're not touching parking lots anymore.
I had already tried to get other villages
on board
to leave town of Ramapo.
Yeah.
And they're in bed together. They're all politically aligned and all this other stuff, and so it needed Airmont to be the linchpin to get away from them. And then the mayor of South Blooming lived in Airmont.
Oh, so he saw it happen.
Saw the better work.
Wow.
And then moved up there and bought a house in South Blooming, reached out to me, and we negotiated for a year and a half in between.
I knew it was a while before it actually happened.
Yeah, and what ended up happening was Blooming Grove, who, similar to the town of Ramapo, was the highway department doing an intermunicipal agreement with South Blooming Grove, told them, we'll get better. We'll do a better job for you. Meanwhile, they're playing games with them. If it snowed, Brandon, after 3:30 in the afternoon, there was never a truck in South Blooming Grove until 6 a.m. in the morning. And you know South Blooming, it's a mountain.
Yeah. Oh, it's a mess.
Oh, and a blizzard comes, and Blooming Grove fell on their face. Rob said, I'm done. You're done. You're done. We're done with this.
Can't deal
with this. No more nonsense.
Anymore.
And we were hired and done, and they haven't looked back.
Yeah. And we haven't, from that point on, we haven't even, we haven't talked about it, but have you even considered picking up a parking lot again?
I don't want a parking lot.
We don't even want it.
I don't want a parking lot.
Yeah.
There's no reason to take on a small money parking lot when we can focus on our municipal customers and make them perfect.
And the municipal end of things is so much more fun.
Yeah, it is.
You're not doing laps in a parking lot.
Mindless, yeah.
Yeah, you're not cleaning the same spot over and over. You're driving down, and it's crazy now that I have a YouTube channel doing this. I have people in our village that I'll be plowing a road and they're yelling to me because they see me on YouTube.
Which is so cool for them.
It's so cool. It's cool at both ends.
Yeah, it's got to be neat to be like, all right, I see this guy. That's my house.
I had one guy that was in a F-350 or something one storm. I think I have it in one of my videos. And he like honks at me as he's driving by. He's like, I watch your YouTube. I was like, what are the odds of that?
That's
it's super cool.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Is there anything else?
We haven't touched on how I see the business transitioning over to you.
Do you want to save that for a different episode?
Yeah, we could do it for
Let's
a different
podcast too.
This is, I think,
Part 2.
This says it's 3.5 hours already. I did start the recording a little bit before, so we're probably at like the 3-hour mark. More than likely, I'm going to cut this into 2 episodes, a part 1 and a part 2. We'll do a part 3 on what the future holds. But I owe Chris something because during episode 1,
you had a plan for it too.
We had a plan. You guys can't see this right now probably, but I'll walk up there in a second. Actually, Chris, you walk up and put this in front of the camera. Show them. So Chris has a candle company. He makes candles. Hudson Valley Mandel Co., right? Mandel Company. So I have the candle here. There's probably 20 candles around my house. He has an Instagram.
We have them all over our house. He has Instagram.
Yeah, they're all over. So he had an idea years ago that he wanted to start a candle company.
So is this a merch?
Yeah, this is a merch.
This is a little bit of a plug.
Yeah. Well, no, it started out during the pandemic. Didn't want to pay $35 for a candle. Started making my own. Then somehow spent $2,000 on candle equipment. And now I make candles just to give them out to my friends.
But if you go on
my Christmas present to him was a wax melter.
Yeah, it's a huge wax melter. I can make a ton now.
You better go get some products on your Etsy page because I was on your Etsy and there's not a single thing for sale on it.
No, well, you have to go to the website.
I don't think there's anything on your website either.
No,
you got a Hudson Valley Mandel website?
But anybody, if you're interested in candles and you want to buy from a local candle maker, that's also my brother.
I'm not sure. Do you have the picture from Shannon's wedding of how we did that?
Yeah,
thing?
I'll throw that up on top of this.
If you're gonna have a wedding, it was
if you want to have a wedding, if you're gonna have a wedding, not if you want to. If you're gonna have a wedding, we can supply candles with a little tag on it that has every person's name
was actually a really
with their
nice
seat. I'll put a picture on top right now.
It was cool.
He can do it all.
I'm sponsoring the pot.
All sorts.
We have a large,
I gave him that candle. It's a spon. No, it's not a monetary. It's more.
Yeah, but you also have the rustic.
The wall.
The bifold. It's not a bifold. It's like a trifold, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll see it on top of the video. But yeah, so follow Chris on Instagram if you want candles.
He had a plan the first time we get through the podcast. And this is our first ever dry run. And he goes,
at the end of the podcast, I asked you, is there anything else you want to touch on? And you said no.
I forgot.
I forgot too?
Yeah, we both forgot.
So look, I got it now. It was sitting right there during the podcast
time.
too.
It's been part of the podcast.
Get yourself a trifold that says Hudson Valley Mandel on it so that the camera's picking it up.
Yeah, and it can read
angle.
it. It can read it. We need something with 3 different candles, 3 different scents, and it says Hudson Valley Mandel Co. on it.
The candle
and that'll
holders come in
sit.
different colors. Right?
That'll sit.
Yeah.
That'll sit on this table during every single podcast. Even though I'm not getting any money off of it.
I'm actually making, so I have a bunch of old liquor bottles and I'm taking them and cutting, like I've cut 2 of them already. They cracked, so I have to figure out how to cut them better. But I'm going to make I'll make you, because I was going to make them for the next golf outing as like a
little gift.
So I can sponsor my own golf outing.
Yeah.
Kind of keep doing it. But I'll make you a couple that are sick looking that you can have up there as a
that'd
big
be cool.
one.
That'd be cool.
Well, this was a good format because what ended up happening, what I noticed was that some of the answers and questions, Chris, would trigger
Thoughts?
another question for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then would trigger something else.
Well, me and him have a good back and forth. Like he's very linear with he has what he wants to accomplish, and I'm just somebody with nothing to accomplish. So if I see something that I think there's an opportunity,
I have a path that we need to continue
and I'm just
down.
The guy who's like,
we got to start here and we got to get here and we got to hit everything
I'll
in between.
find the little breadcrumbs for him and just throw them out there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like we jumped all over in the beginning, but we did not cover the struggles. It was not easy.
We'll get into all that.
I gotta get you photos so that everybody understands. Like right now, we're in a place with equipment and personnel that there's no work that we can't do.
Yeah, we can do anything.
Back in the day.
Oh, right. Before we end this, there's 2 things that we have to touch on. Questions from viewers. I tried going through my YouTube. If you guys left a comment, CC Scott wants the Oshkosh. You gonna sell it to him? I don't know which Oshkosh he wants.
I know. I saw that comment.
He wants one.
I got some ideas. I'm gonna send it in. That truck doesn't have central hydraulics for the sander.
You're talking about the one that's down at our shop. We have a second Oshkosh that's like an airport grade snowblower sitting in our garage there.
And so we're
not getting rid of either of them.
We're in the process. We bought everything to refurbish the snowblower.
Yeah.
So we're gonna refurbish the snowblower.
Next question. William Fenner wants to know when we're gonna see the Kubota plowing snow.
Well, Brandon's gonna set me up with a couple cameras, and I'm gonna.
You put a GoPro mount in the Kubota.
Listen, I was GoProing it before you had a YouTube channel.
Where's the footage?
Where's the footage? I'm too busy working. But I had GoPro mounts all over that tractor.
Recording is working now.
I know it is, but now you can set it up where I can really.
Yeah.
Listen, that tractor is. Listen, guys, it doesn't have a salting function, right? You can't salt, right? But I have an idea for liquid on the back of it.
But as far as plowing goes,
oh my God,
it is the best thing to plow in.
Oh my God, the visibility and the amount of stuff that I can accomplish, is insane.
There's the one kid on YouTube up in Canada who has a bunch of he's doing driveways with them.
Whatchamacallit?
You probably watch
the blowers.
Yeah.
I follow them.
Yeah.
Northern
equipment,
Snow.
Northern Snow. Yeah, and he's got a bunch of them.
They're on top of their game, and they're young kids. They're aggressive.
Yeah, but they're only doing driveways with them,
and they're doing all blower stuff, right?
Yeah. We're plowing. They don't have a plow setup. They don't have a wing plow, let alone a front plow on it. Which sets. I think we might be the only person with a tractor like that has a full wing and front plow setup on it.
Yeah, I've seen other ones.
Okay,
I have, but Canada,
there's nobody making content with them.
And guys, the basis for that Kubota tractor was one single thing. That was a cul-de-sac killer.
Yeah,
we were the very first couple of years. The struggles in the village of Airmont were cul-de-sacs. So I had to come up with something that I can do a cul-de-sac in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's fast.
Picture perfect, clean, done. No mailbox buried, no driveways buried, done.
There is one flaw, is when you're fully turned to the right, the tire buckles on the back of the plow sometimes, the wing plow.
On the wing plow.
Yeah, we slid
fix that post out as far as we could.
Yeah.
And so when I'm plowing, I know not just to crank that wheel.
You just can't turn full lock.
You can't turn it all the way. And it's got a function in there that will allow you to turn it even more.
Oh, well, definitely don't want to use that.
Yeah. So, and then I watch that.
Yeah.
And
there's just something you have to keep in the back of your mind, especially like when I hop in it, because I don't drive that every time.
So this year I just bought a counterweight for the back of it.
Yeah, we put that on it already.
I put a counterweight on it just for a little bit of, for the spin. But going into a cul-de-sac when you get a heavy snowstorm and a wet snowstorm, the front wants to slide a little bit. So I'm accustomed to just tapping the front plow and putting as soon as I put that weight of that plow on the front,
yeah,
boom, that tractor turns on a heartbeat.
You lift the plow up a hair.
A tiny bit, just enough to put the chain.
You're leaving like maybe a quarter of an inch of snow. Not even. Yeah.
Nothing. Boom.
And then the next time you go through to clean it up, it's less snow pushing you, so you just clean it.
Exactly.
Next pass.
And that machine is just super efficient.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful tractor to run in.
Yeah. So we'll promise you at least one video this winter.
I'll get it, Bill. I'll get it
in the tractor.
And and then I'll let Brandon go out, and maybe we'll do a little competition of who can do a cul-de-sac or a road faster. We'll see.
I'll come back down to the snow company.
I'll watch that one. It's not always about speed. Efficiency is the thing too, you know?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's the end of it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.